Hello everyone. Yeah, it's Duet Day. We're gonna watch Duet, one of the most loved episodes in all of Star Trek in general, really. Particularly considered to be one of the best episodes of Deep Space Nine, but we won't be get to that immediately. That'll be in a couple hours. We're gonna be starting with the episode The Forsaken, which all I remember about it is it has Lwaxana and Odo enjoying some time together. That's all about I remember. So that should be fun. I believe it's the only Lwaxana episode in Deep Space Nine. Her only appearance outside of TNG in general. So yeah. The Discord is up. If anyone wants to join in the voice chat, there's a link in the description. You can just click on that, click on the voice channel, and you're in. It's open to everyone. Are there two Lwaxana DS9 episodes? I'm gonna look that up real quick. DS9, Lwaxana, Troy. Memory Alpha, that's a good source. Oh, there's 3 episodes where she's in The Forsaken, Fascination, and The Muse. Just click onto those real quick. I remember The Muse, but I don't remember Lwaxana being in it. Let's see. Fascination. Ambassador Lwaxana Troy visits the station to attend the Bajoran Gratitude Festival, resulting in an outbreak of passion throughout the station as people admit their secret feelings for others. Yeah, that's certainly a Star Trek script, if I ever heard one. And then The Muse, a mysterious woman helps Jake write a novel. Lwaxana Troy, pregnant with a son, asks Odo to help her escape her husband. And that's The Muse. Okay. Today's episode, I don't want to look at the synopsis because I don't remember much of what's in it. And we'll be watching it today. No need to look at the synopsis. Lwaxana and Odo are in it, and there's an elevator. Sorry, a turbo lift. This is space. There's a turbo lift and a pile of goo. And, yeah, that about sums it up. We'll probably be getting some Sadiq al-Tahil al-Fadl al-Sadiq Abdurrahman Muhammad Ahmed al-Abdul Karim al-Makti in this episode. I imagine he's going to have something to say, because if they're stuck in a turbo lift, there's something probably wrong in the station, and if there's something wrong in the station, there's probably some people that are going to be hurt. So I imagine Sid is going to be making an appearance prominently in this first episode. But again, I don't really remember. Find out shortly. In the meantime, we'll be starting in a minute. We can just listen to the jazz till then. I think they're called turbo lifts. I think so. Anyway, I should probably blur the screen, get rid of that starfield, queue myself up to Season 1, Episode 16 or 17, The Forsaken of Deep Space Nine. And we'll be pressing play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Make sure that's not going through. Okay, good. The audio is not going through to the stream. Oh, hey, Sid. He's here right away. Oh, hey, there's Morn in the background, too. Typical ambassadors. That Romulan ambassador looks very familiar. Who is that man? A very distinctive face. Let me see. DS9, The Forsaken, IMDb. I always have to look up actors that I recognize but can't quite place them. Oh, Michael Ensign, that's his name. Yeah, he's in a bunch of Star Trek. He's a doctor in Enterprise. He's a character in Voyager, who I don't really remember. But what I remember him from most, that Vulcan ambassador, he is from the episode First Contact. He's the one that shoots himself with a phaser. I mean, at least that ambassador knows what they're for. I mean, that's not especially diplomatic between them, but alright. How wait, how is Bashir a first year officer if he's a lieutenant? If he's first year, shouldn't he be an ensign? He's just insulting the man. Sacred chalice of reeks, heir to the holy rings of Beta Z. Wow. She brought up the cup of mold. Yeah, I don't think she has the authority to do that, ambassador or no. I don't think she can strip search the entire population. Is that relevant, Dodo? But you can't read Ferengi, Odo. Do you not know that? There we go. No, he absolutely does resort to petty theft. That actually is a very common thing he does, Odo. Well, I was gonna pull Odo. I was gonna call him out for profiling, but apparently he's right. So, hey, whatever, man. Maybe it wasn't profiling. Maybe Odo actually recognizes that specific man. I mean, to be fair, that's not. It's not really Starfleet security procedures failing there. The establishment is completely run by Quark, and all the security officers in there are Bajoran. Of course, personal Starfleet security, because, I mean, a Starfleet officer lost their comm badge. Now, I don't know how that even happens. It's attached to their chest. Yeah, no. I guess that is Starfleet continuing to be awful. How did he do that? He just It's like showing him a magic trick. It did the thing where he bumped against him and carefully pulled it off him while he was like patting his back or something. I don't know. Very sneaky alien, though. Oh, there's Siddiq El Fadil as Dr. Bashir, most important character of all. And I really need to find something to do during all these intro sequences. Yeah, that's a good point. Why a comm badge? Why would you steal that? It is specifically designed to be a tracking device. People can't really tell where individual officers are without them, but if they're wearing the comm badge, you just ask the computer. It's like, oh, he's right in this exact spot. All right, now we're into it. Ah, most important character in all of Starfleet. 20%. I bet Cardassian engineers don't even use a second backup. What happens if the primary system and the backup fails? You're going to need a secondary backup to take care of that. And then what if the secondary backup fails? I bet Starfleet will put a tertiary backup in. Cardassians don't even have one backup, I bet. Absolutely ridiculous. God, that just would be infuriating. God, the computer's not. Just rip out the whole computer, put in a new one. It's just cruel and unusual. I can totally understand O'Brien being frustrated by this. My computer. I mean, Windows 10 people exaggerate a lot about it, the things it won't let you to do. But specifically, the Windows apps folder is kind of frustrating. And I can just imagine the protections around the Windows apps folder applied to every single subfolder on the entire system, and that's what O'Brien is dealing with. He can't access anything the computer doesn't want him to. Feel bad for the poor man. He's certainly been trying, but somehow I get the feeling no matter how many he attends to, there's always going to be at least one more. They have gargoyles? Okay, next time we get a shot of quarters, keep an eye out for gargoyles. I don't remember seeing any gargoyles in Deep Space Nine. But now I need to keep an eye out for gargoyles. Is that it? I mean, it looks like a probe to me. Are gargoyles limited exclusively to VIP quarters? The fancy quarters, they get the gargoyles? But you would think Captain Cisco then gets his gargoyles. The docking ring near Port 7. Is that going to happen to be the exact spot on the promenade that every shot is ever from? The place where Jake and Nog sit, the place where Martok hangs out. Is that going to be that exact one spot on the promenade? Right across from Quark's bar, in fact. It's that's quite a show you've got, Luoxana. And she changed her wig. How many wigs do you suppose she has? We've seen two this episode. How many are we gonna get? It, gotta love the inclusive war. I wasn't expecting an inclusive war. I was expecting him to say just, it's my name. But nope. We're going with inclusive war. Yeah, no, Luoxana, you can't do this. You can't just start rubbing officers. You have to, if you want to touch Odo, you have to ask Odo for permission first. You can't just start pawing at his chest. What are you doing? She's supposed to be an ambassador. She's gonna cause a diplomatic incident. She keeps pawing at people. This happens every single place she goes. It didn't actually do it, did it? Oh, it did. Yeah, somehow I don't think the computer's completely fixed. I get the feeling that's gonna come up again later in the episode. I mean, this seems like the equivalent of Odo going to HR, which I can appreciate. But Cisco. No, Cisco, one of your crew is expressing discomfort at someone sexually harassing them, and your response is to say, good for you? What is wrong with you, Cisco? Take this. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Odo needs to find some admiral to talk to report Cisco now. Not taking his concerns seriously at all. You don't look sorry to hear that. You don't look sorry to hear that at all. Absolutely worthless as a station commander. You know what this station needs? This station needs a counselor. I bet the counselor would be able to go and talk to Luoxan about this. Now, if Jadzia would hurry up and die, we can get one on board. And she can go and talk to Luoxana and get her to back off. Oh god. Wig 3? We're on Wig 3. I mean, all the wigs kind of look the same. They're just different colors. Luoxana, I would expect more variety in your wigs. Oh no, we're in the turbo lift. Oh no, you did not want to get in a turbo lift with that woman. It's never a good sign when you can see the outer wall. If you can see the door, something awful is going to happen in that opening. There it is. If we get that angle in the turbo lift, it's going to go real bad for him. To answer a previous question, yes, they are referring to them here as turbo lifts. Odo could probably get out, but he would be leaving the ambassador alone. Maybe he's going to be ordered to stay and make sure she doesn't die. Or maybe it just makes a airtight seal somehow as it goes up. God. Can't get through the circuitry, apparently. Well, we'll probably get the specific answer in a few minutes. After Loxana Troy harasses him for a few more times. I mean, the turbo lifts don't even have doors. They're just an open carriage, and then the doors are on each level. The turbo lift itself has no doors. There we go. Expose multi-phase currents through the positioning systems. There we go. So inside the turbo lift, I'm thinking about, does the turbo lift falling make any sense? Because I get the feeling it's going to in about 5-10 minutes. Turbo lift's going to fall a few floors. It's definitely fallen before. It doesn't make sense for the turbo lift to fall given that Star Trek Artificial Gravity works on gravity plating. And I imagine there's gravity plating inside the turbo lift. But is there gravity plating at like the very bottom of the turbo lift shaft to help pull it down? That doesn't. Because that happens on the Enterprise too. Yeah, there's that episode where someone tries to assassinate Barial, and it and they use the turbo lift. I'm thinking of like the Enterprise episode or not the Enterprise, the episode on the Enterprise, the TNG episode Disaster, where Picard and the kids are trapped in a turbo lift, and then it. Did I say Shakar? Vedic Barile. Kira's boyfriend. On that episode Disaster where the turbo lift falls down the shaft. It's probably best not to think about it, how that would work. Are you sure it was Shakar? Was it Shakar? I don't know. Let's see. Um, DS9 Shakar Turbo Lift. Crossfire. She goes to meet. Yeah, it's Shakar. First Minister Shakar. Tragically, I think the situation of them being stuck in the turbo lift, it means we'll only get a total of 3 wigs this episode. I know we'll get a fourth hairstyle, but I think that'll be our last wig. Yeah, this is how it always goes. There was that TNG episode Liaisons where it was just this. Just everybody hates ambassadors. Ambassadors are awful. Well, Sid, maybe you should hit one of the ambassadors. Sid? Sid, I was joking, but it looks like you're seriously considering that. Sid, don't punch the ambassador. Don't do it. Oh yeah, Worf got antagonized into punching an ambassador who wanted to learn about conflict, antagonism, something like that. Because their society didn't have conflict or leadership, they were all identical. More or less. For their food, they were concerned with vitamin and enzymatic complement, something to that effect. Oh yeah, that guy loved dessert, especially chocolate. Pushing even Counselor Troy's limits. Seems like a good thing, Mr. O'Brien. Starfleet really needs to start using some sandboxing when they download stuff. Because you guys remember that time they downloaded a probe's data and it turned the entire Enterprise into like some alien ruin in masks? Or that other time they downloaded a probe computer and it shut down the Enterprise? Or that other time they downloaded another computer and it sent Picard into a dream world? Or that other time they really need to sandbox these things. They need to stop just downloading probes into their main computer core. That's a bad idea. We got to do something about this. I mean, Chatsia, we've already seen a few instances of artificial life, most notably Lieutenant Commander Data. I don't know if we've seen the exocomps yet. I don't think we get the maybe. I think the exocomps come later, chronologically. But those are artificial life. We certainly have had some nanoprobes. Yep, we've had V'ger, nanoprobes, Data, a bunch of other androids, actually. Exocomps. Artificial life happens all the time. I don't remember what season they were in. Could compare the star date, but there's no way Exocomp. Are you sure Exocomps were season 3? That doesn't sound right. I thought they were in one of the last 3. Star Trek Exocomps. Quality of Life. Season 6, Episode 9. Season 6, Episode 9. Quality of Life. I mean, O'Brien, that's not really gonna get rid of it, though. If I upload a video to YouTube, it doesn't delete it off my hard drive, it makes a copy of it. Yeah, I don't think that's how programs work. Alright. Sid, I don't really like how you phrased that, because the way you said that makes me think the station's going to be in danger of exploding in about 10 minutes. Define real. It's not a wig. I mean, he studied one hairstyle. He studied Dr. Mora's hairstyle. Yeah, here we go. Dr. Mora. In fact, Dr. Mora is the same actor who plays Admiral Jarok in the TNG episode The Defector. James Sloyan. He's real good. I don't know if we'll be seeing him this season. Are we going to be seeing Dr. Mora this season? I know he comes up a few times. I don't understand how the comm lines are down because communicators talk to each other. You could probably just. I don't know. Look, the fact that the comm systems don't work, don't worry about it. Oh no, Dr. Mora this season? That's too bad. If he was, we'd be seeing him today. Because these are the last 4 episodes of the season. But I mean, wait, Odo's. Yeah, Loxana is actually pretty nice here. Other than the HR lawsuit, diplomatic incident, sexual harassment that was going on earlier. Other than that, she's actually being really nice to Odo and being attentive and understanding of his problems as a shapeshifter. But other moving other from that, Odo turns into a look at every 16 hours. He's an hour 15, and he's in a bit of a rough shape. I assume that implies 16 hours is the absolute longest he can go, but he prefers to liquefy every 14 to 15. Oh, this is just like HAL 9000 dying. You're slowly lobotomizing this poor puppy. Oh, yep, here we go. Has it been 10 minutes? Oh, it's only been 5 minutes since O'Brien said everything. Let me start that sentence over again. It's only been 5 minutes, not 10, since Sid said that they could wait it out in their quarters, and nothing would go wrong. Let the Vulcan try it. You're not genetically enhanced yet, so the Vulcan's 3 times stronger than you. Let the Vulcan hit the manual release. I mean, it probably still won't work, but it's worth a shot. Is O'Brien sad that the puppy's upset with him? Yeah, O'Brien feels guilty about this program. Yeah, phasers are wonderful multi-purpose tools. You can use them for cooking, you can use them for heat, you can use them for murder, you can use them as cutting tools. Phasers are great. I mean, here I think if I stay up late, I start getting a little bit loopy. Odo physically disintegrates if he tries to pull an all-nighter. That's gotta be awful. Hold it together, Odo. You've only been awake 16 hours. You can make it to 24. There. Hairstyle number 4. Well, Odo, you know what they say. The higher, the fewer. Just, you remember that, Odo. Oh man, what did they pour on Renee's face? What is that they poured on his face? It looked like chili. Does Odo seep through cotton fabrics? It I'm not sure if they can get in anymore. I mean, they kind of welded the door there. Oh, okay, door's fine. Those are some well-made doors. I guess they were made to suppress Bajoran rebellions if needed. So I guess that's fair enough. But yeah, those are solid. Well, of course he was calm and logical. He's genetically enhanced, Ambassador. Yeah, don't mention this to anyone. Don't tell do not tell your governments that Commander Cisco almost got you killed in a plasma fire by recklessly downloading programs into core computer memory. From an alien probe they couldn't identify, they couldn't scan in any meaningful way. Just don't mention it. It worked out. Yep, still no doors on the turbo lifts. Oh no. Oh no, I just thought of something. I was wondering, I was gonna make some snide comment like, oh, this pup is gonna be in the station for the entire rest of the series and no one's gonna mention it. But you guys remember when the Dominion takes over the station and then Kara and Cisco kind of blow everything up? Yeah, and then the Dominion's in control of it for a good few months. I don't think the pup makes it all the way through the series. Yeah, I don't. Hmm. I don't know when exactly the pup dies, and the pup might die earlier than that. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, the transporter accident episode, the one where yeah, that episode where everyone has to have their patterns held in the entire computer core. The entire computer's holding the patterns of Cisco, O'Brien, Dax, Worf, and someone else. Yeah, the pup probably dies there. Yeah, the pup doesn't make it. Sure, we can just say he downloaded the pup before then. Sure. The dog's fine. It went to play in a computer upstate. It went to play in a computer upstate. Don't worry. The pup's fine. Minus the fact that the computer got completely wiped and then it got blown up, then it got wiped again when it got taken over by a hostile invasion force. Nope, pup's fine. Don't worry. Or let's put the nice fancy starfield on screen. Very fancy. Yeah, this is something I made for an end card for non-intake videos. It's dynamic. Got a few minutes. You guys want to see some programming? I don't know if you'll be able to read this because the font size is a bit low. Oh, I can zoom in. Good. Yeah, that's a dynamic generator. Every frame, which is 60 frames per second, it creates a little star object off left of the screen. And then each star, it gets a random radius of 2 to 8 pixels. The next episode is Dramatis Personae. Dramatis Personae, I don't know. It's that one. You know the one. The one where everyone goes crazy. Every star gets a random radius from 2 to 8 pixels. Then it will move at that same speed. Here, is that big enough? Is this large enough for you on your iPad screen? And then the size is random, and then the move speed is equal to the size plus or minus 1. So if the size is 8, then the speed it moves across the screen can be 7, 8, or 9. And then choose a color. And they just move across. They just move across, and this is the result we get. We get the stars in the background are moving a bit slowly, but not all at exactly the same speed. Stars that are bigger appear closer up and they're moving faster, but again, not all at the same speed. So there's some depth to it. And I got myself a nice end card. This is the Game Engine Game Maker. Granted, I never actually use it. I rarely use it for games. I do a lot of utility programming in it. Yeah, so I just have a 10-second video of this that I use, or rather that I'm going to use, as the end cards for the videos that'll start coming next week. Is there anything else interesting here? Yeah, the video, it takes a screenshot every frame and then I just put them in a video. Because who just does a screen recording while it runs? No, you need the individual screenshots to make sure it's perfect. It's very important. Of course, it doesn't matter that it's perfect because it's not going to be running. The videos aren't going to be going at 60 frames per second. The videos are going to be going at 24, so it's not going to be a complete even thing. It looks fine. I'm not expecting any more house intakes. No more house intakes. House is dead. House is dead primarily because the copyright holders are a lot more strict than CBS. So that's not going to work out. Used Unity to make clips for a Star Trek RPG game. Very fancy. Very fancy indeed. Anyway, we're coming up on start time. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. NBC, that's who they are. NBC is more strict, so I don't want to do their content. I don't want to get a copyright strike. Valerian. Oh, I'm thinking of... I knew Valerian was very familiar, but I'm thinking of a character from something else. No, I'm thinking of this man. Emperor, Prince and then Emperor Valerian Mengsk. Valerian Mengsk. Yeah, diplomatic pressure. We're all about diplomatic pressure against the Valerians. I mean, does O'Brien actually get the message, or is that the entire message that she's on Bajor? Keiko doesn't actually just want to chat with him. She doesn't want to talk. They don't want to talk about the trip. Okay, that worked out. I'm still not clear at all on how this sort of thing works, because the Klingon transporter is very much not there anymore. And you could say in this particular instance, that's what happened here. The Cardassian transporter on the station sort of took over the rematerialization process, fine. But this happens otherwise when they're transporting somewhere that doesn't have its own transporters. Then the transporter they have blows up, but rematerialization continues. It's not really clear how transporters keep working after they blow up. The Jem'Hadar motto is "Victory is life." Unfortunately for this man, victory was death. Victory was very much death. I mean, did I don't think the Klingon died from the transporter. I don't think the transporter is what killed him. I assumed he was heavily wounded in the transporter. Just he just happened to die right after because he got all stabbed. So I remember vaguely what happens in this episode. Um, if you don't want to get spoiled on it, too bad. I guess. I guess you could mute this until the intro sequence is over. But basically, they transported something on board that makes everyone go crazy, and honestly, that pretty much sums it up. Once again, the transporters don't filter out anything harmful at all. These are Cardassian transporters in this case, but still basically worthless. Hontiel? Hontiel doesn't sound like a Klingon name to me. Hontiel. I, I would assume it's a Klingon weapon. Well, no, there's no reason to assume that. I'd also like to find out why the ship flipped over before it exploded. Because that was real quick. It just flopped into the station. And it's begun. Dax is already going crazy. That doesn't look like Valerian Megsk at all. It's not even close. That, I mean, yeah, Kira, you can still let them dock. In fact, you probably want them to dock. Because if you can place them at Ultima Thule or wherever, you want to be able to clamp their ship down. Seems like a good idea. Oh, is Odo gonna go crazy here? Oh, is he immune? That'd be too bad. I would love to see Odo go full founder in this. Just go full founder. Death to all solids. I Yeah, basically. This is the everyone goes crazy except one character. Maybe two characters, but we'll see. Odo Season 1, Odo just shakes down Quark repeatedly. Odo's basically running a mafia organization here with the Bajoran militia. Oh, you okay, Odo? You don't look okay. That was um I mean, you say face spasm. I was thinking that looked more like a face hugger, but actually part of Odo. Yeah, that wasn't great. I mean, not in a technical sense. That was technically and story wise good, but oh, that was creepy to look at. Oh, I didn't like that at all. Yeah, he could, if he really wanted to scare people into submission and just, hey, it's a triangle pillow. If he really wanted people to surrender to him, just do the face hugger clasp thing. They'll give up right away. Yeah, Sadiq al Tahir al Fadil al Abdurrahman al Abdulkarim al Makdi isn't being very helpful here. I I guess he's just gonna need to get to know Odo and what's normal for him over the next 7 seasons. It's gonna take time. Or would it? I mean, right away, Evil Siddiq here is so much better than when he was being evil Roy Vantica, possessed Siddiq. Because that was just awful acting. He's doing much better already. It's still season one. Of course, I wouldn't object to another evil Bashir malicious whispering episode. Not even trying to hide the fact that it's Bashir. By her authority, it's Bajoran Space Commander. Do the Bajorans have any ships? Any ships? Do the Bajorans have a single ship that can intercept them? Yeah, Kira's got a point. And we know Avery seems to love playing evil, particularly in that holodeck malfunction episode where he takes on the role of the supervillain in the spy program. Yeah, Nanana seems to love playing evil. Yeah, it seems everyone seems to thoroughly enjoy it. And I was having a great time with Mirror Kira. What's your point, Chief? You accusing Dax of something? Very rude of you. I almost called him Bashir. Very rude of you, O'Brien. Jeez, O'Brien. I mean, whatever's going on made you evil, but it doesn't have to make you rude. There's no need for that. Let her finish her sentence. Oh, here we go. Yep, this is Mirror Nana already. It's just the same character. Oh yeah, this really is just the same as Mirror Kira. The leaning in and the whispering and the inflections. Mostly the whispering. She would never. Where do your loyalties lie, Odo? You're not a member of Starfleet, you're part of the Bajoran militia. Well, chief of security at least. Is Odo actually technically part of the Bajoran militia? I don't think he is, he just wears the uniform. Well, I say wears, he is the uniform. Oh, is that the same? I think that's a different triangle ship, maybe? I want to say that was Zeppelite. I don't think that was the triangle ship. I think that was a different one. I need to go back and look at it more carefully. Yeah, it had four struts on the back. But I mean, they occasionally just glue extra bits onto it. I'm more looking for the base model. If it's the base model of the same ship. Is that a something something sunset? No. Modella aperitif. Cheese, Kira. Again, whatever's going on is making you evil, but there's no need to be rude. It doesn't have to make you rude. Very impolite. What? What is that? Are you okay? I don't think Dax is okay. Do you do you guys put your right shoe on and then your left foot into the bathtub? I can't say I've ever done that, but hey, I'm not a Trill. What do I know? I mean, my concern here is that it's not just her going crazy. Like that actually is a Trill sane, and it makes no sense whatsoever. No, you don't get in the bath with your shoes on. You put one foot in a shoe and then the other foot in the bath. You don't put the shoe in the foot in the shoe in the foot, the foot in the shoe, then the foot shoed foot in the bath. One in the bath, one in the shoe. Those are different feet. Oh, the prophets would not approve of that at all. Prophets would not want Cisco to be sent away here. Yeah, Dax isn't gonna be. Dax isn't gonna do anything here. Oh, hey, Morn. Yeah, this is a good point. It was a terrible idea for Kira to say all this within earshot of Morn. Because you know Morn's never going to shut up about it. He's going to tell everyone. Just a complete lack of planning from Kira. Also, I like that when she left the bar, she was doing the mirror Kira strut. Very distinctive strut she had there. I don't think Dax even noticed that she was trying to say that. The Talarian warship model. Star Trek Talarian warship. Oh, yeah, I'm looking at that now. Comparing it. I just want to make sure they didn't just glue the fins onto the triangle ship to make the Valerian ship. Or the Talarian ship. They're just so similar. And of course, Quark was just trying to make a buck. I think they are different models. I think they are different models. The Talarian ship has the triangle front, and then it has a narrow part before that connects to the back of the ship. Whereas the triangle ship is purely triangular. It doesn't narrow. So that's not it. But it is very similar. It's hard to see the bit where it narrows, because it's usually coming head on. But all the renders of it, you can tell. Oh no, O'Brien's taking command? Oh, sorry. O'Brien's in his rightful place as ruler of the station now. Remember who your friends are, Constable. Are they guarding Cisco's quarters? These look like quarters. Yep, there we go. Yeah, Odo. How inappropriate. He is sitting on the floor. Yes, it's very comfortable. Thank you. If he sat on the couch, he'd have to rearrange his furniture to get himself a footrest. He's just drawing. He's having a good time. What'd you make? What is it? There's some glare on it. Come on, cameraman. Show us the picture. A clock. Good job, Cisco. We're all very proud of you. You did a real good job drawing that clock. Yeah, there's this episode where everyone goes crazy except for one person. There's the episode The Game from TNG where everyone goes crazy except for one person. There's an episode from Enterprise where everyone goes crazy except for one person. There's probably one of Voyager, but I don't remember. What do you mean you took care of? Did you murder them? Okay, no, they're still alive. I thought you killed them for a second. I was like, you're not gonna be able to take that back once the crazy juice wears off, Kira. How do you plan to get that particular criteria in an officer? I don't think you can request Starfleet Command send you someone that you can control. Yeah, scientific method, kinda. Kinda. I can see that. It's a good episode, too. I'm really disappointed that Odo isn't going crazy. I really want to see him proclaim martial law here. Does Chief O'Brien have that authority? Wait, but surely Kira outranks O'Brien as far as the station's computer is concerned, because she's the first officer. Couldn't she override that lockdown? Couldn't she override that order? The Sultana. A clock. Now, is this replicated? Are these individual pieces replicated from the drawings he scanned into the computer? Or did he make this by hand? Yeah, make an attempt on your life. I'm more concerned about the clock. Because if he actually made this by hand, that's really impressive work. Especially since it's been like 30 minutes. It's gotta be replicated. She just replicated it in pieces so he could assemble it himself. Oh, have you guys seen that compilation on YouTube of Cisco yelling at everyone? Why did they not include that line? Get me a phaser, I'll take care of Kira. Why would you not include that in the compilation? That's a great one. Uh, Julian, are you trying to poison that man? No, I don't think that's what it was. Someone's getting poisoned with that. Someone's definitely getting poisoned here. Or at least roofied. No, Sid, start evil whispering. Give us the evil whispering. Very disappointing that Siddiq is getting better at acting as the series goes on. Very disappointing. Everyone in Ops was affected. Everyone in Ops. So what about the Starfleet security officers and the Bajoran militia on the station? Hypothetically, they aren't affected. So are they happy to go along with the coup? Do they have no objection to any of this? Guess I guess they're going to go with the defense of just following orders. This report will explode in three, two. Oh, I thought the pad was going to explode. No, it's the poison man. But this means Siddiq al Tahir al Fadil Abdurrahman Muhammad Ahmed al Abdul Karim al Makti betrayed Cisco. He gave that dude a poison to take out his own commander. Why would he do that? Bloody traitor is what he is. What are you planning, Chief? Do you have a nope transporter? Okay. Since when does the transporter do that? The transporter doesn't reroute people when they fail to transport. It just doesn't work. Since when does it do that? Just have faith. Don't worry, Chief. He's got a plan. All he needs is a few more minutes. He's got a plan. I'm curious. So, this telepathic field is making everyone reenact the power struggle of the Saltines. I don't remember that. The Sultanas? The Sultans? The Saltines. Look. They're reenacting the power struggle. So who is Dax reenacting? Who is the senile person completely failing in everything they tried to do in the actual Saltine power struggle? Maybe there wasn't actually a senile person. Maybe that's just because it's having trouble messing with the symbiote. What are you doing with your hands, Avery? You feeling okay? Oh, he's going full gold Ducat here. And is there even one statue of Cisco on the promenade? Ow, does it have to be that high pitch? My goodness. Cisco, you haven't really grabbed onto it. You just kind of laid your hand gently on the forward side. That's the exact wrong side you should lay your hand on. Cisco? Okay. Yeah, nope, that wasn't safe at all. Cisco grabbed exactly the wrong place on that thing. Yeah, who knows what was up with all the people who weren't in ops. That Bajoran officer tried to murder Cisco. I mean, that's the most egregious example, but various people were just completely happy to go along with the coup who weren't possessed. Well, at least one of you was really responsible for your actions. Not everybody here was possessed, Kira. Let's just pretend that didn't happen. Let's just pretend. Look, season one of every series kind of retcons itself later on. Let's just retcon that a little bit and pretend there wasn't a perfectly of sound mind Bajoran who tried to murder Commander Cisco. Just, it's fine. Don't worry about it. All right. The next episode is one everybody loves. The next episode is Duet. Duet, the episode with Goldar Heel and the filing clerk. Goldar Heel and the filing clerk. Anyway, while that's counting down, put on the jazz, of course. Make everything nice and smooth. Put on the Starfield generator. Good. And then, I'm gonna go grab something to drink, so I'll be back in about 4 minutes for the countdown. So do you say this is an Alpha Red priority mission? Clearance verification 9218 black? Does that sound about right? 9218 black. Could use a bit longer passwords, but I guess it does the job. Also, priority red, and their clearance code is black. That Cardassians seem kinda edgy. Maybe tone that down a bit. Just go with normal passwords. Alright, let me get myself queued up to 0 here on Duet, and we'll be pressing play in just a moment. Timer's kind of freaking out there. Don't know what's up with that. 2, 1, play. Timer had a couple issues there, but it tried. Dax, you can't do that. That's vandalism, Dax. What's the matter with you? That's the kind of thing the Symbiosis Commission would reject you for. Going and smashing people's windows. My goodness. Oh, hey, it's her. It's him. Yep, that's actually the Gobarian freighter that they impersonate later. He doesn't sound like Commander Cisco at all. Galatep labor camp. Yeah, this is the episode of Is There Such a Thing as a Good Nazi? Are all Nazis evil, even the filing clerks who didn't participate in any of the fighting or any of the killing? Oh, sorry, that's not a filing clerk. That's not a filing clerk at all. That's Goldar Heel, the butcher, who murdered a whole bunch of people. Goldar Heel did a whole bunch of genocide. Yeah, that's bad. You know, I know it's very brave of me to say, but it's true. I fully maintain genocide is bad. Goldar Heel, not a nice man. What do you mean? Heisenberg wasn't a Nazi. Heisenberg was a meth dealer. He wasn't a Nazi at all. Well, actually, he hated Nazis. Heisenberg met some Nazis, and he straight up hated those people. I mean, does it really count if it's genocide against tribbles? Does that count as genocide? I mean, they don't even have faces. How can something be alive if it doesn't have a face? They were an ecological menace that deserved to be wiped out. Tribbles, ridiculous. I hear they still sing songs of the great tribble hunt. Yeah, exocoms are alive, but you can't genocide exocoms because there's only 3 of them to begin with. And then very shortly thereafter, there's only 2 of them. Does that count as genocide if there's only two of the entire species? Does that count? Where do you think you're going, Goldar Heel? With your light jog? What are you going to? Are you going to try and hijack a freighter with your light jog? What are you doing, man? It's a bold statement, Kira. You don't even know this man. You're charging him with being a Cardassian, primarily. The thing about this kind of episode, I can't really I can't really make snide commentary trying to be funny about yeah, any of this, really. The Holocaust thing. Oh. Well, one thing I can snidely comment on, how did he get there so fast? He walked out and like 2 seconds later he was in the holding cell on the camera. How did that happen? One of my favorite lines in all of Deep Space Nine later will come from Mr. Cardassian here. Specifically, I don't want to say it, but it's the line right after Kira questions him as to what he was doing at the academy, at the Cardassian Military Academy. It'll be easy enough to check his story, though. Military filing clerk Eamon Maritza. Yeah, I don't think the Minister of State's going to be. Something tells me he's going to be demanding an execution in short order, or something to that effect. Because they found a Nazi. Yeah, I don't. Hmm. The only way they could really pressure Cisco into releasing him, or rather, in releasing Goldar, Hilo, or Maritza to them, they'd either have to contact Starfleet and be like, hey, this guy's defying Bajorans on Bajoran territory, we want him replaced, or they could try and drive the Federation off of Deep Space Nine or just make them leave. Yeah, there's all kinds of reasons he could have been at the Galatep labor camp without being party to what they were doing there. Maybe maybe he was trying to help the Bajorans there. That's a yeah, that's a likely situation, right? There was a Cardassian coming around trying to help the Bajorans get out of there. Doesn't seem terribly likely, but maybe. Yeah, she really can't be objective about this. I'm actually surprised that Maritza's name isn't on the list of war criminals. Because I imagine they would know about him. Surely they have records of who worked at the Galatep labor camp. I don't know what happened to actual Nazi filing clerks. Nazi clerical staff. Nope, Nazi chief of staff is not what I was looking for at all. He's probably not quite so innocent. Okay, I found a record of something similar. Oskar Grunin, who was a not exactly a filing clerk, more of an accountant at Auschwitz. Apparently, he was charged with accessory to murder in 300,000 cases and found guilty in 2015. Sentenced to 4 years. So apparently, in real life, though this trial was well after Deep Space Nine aired, this very similar man was found guilty. I wonder if the uh, the people in that trial had seen this episode. Oh, that's quite a compliment, actually, for a filing clerk. I would be very flattered if someone referred to my programs as examples of exact. I already forgot what he said. Look, it was a good compliment. Oh, this is the line I love. Yep. It's not a big line. Just believe it or not, filing. Of course, he was teaching filing. What did you expect, Kira? He's a filing clerk. It's a labor camp major. Yeah, Eamon Maritza. I mean, obviously, we'll figure out later on that what this guy's motives are. But yeah, based on what we see of Maritza now, he just seems evil. Not such a nice Nazi filing clerk. He is putting on quite a show, though. I'm curious as to what he would have done if Kira actually bought his lies. If Kira actually let him go, or was forced to let him go, before they found out who he really was and what he was doing there. I imagine he would end up confessing just straight away. It's interesting to note that, as we find out later, Gul Dukat really has no idea who they're holding. He's being Gul Dukat's being completely genuine here. See, Gul Dukat is still an active space Nazi, but he is genuinely trying to protect Cardassian citizens. I'm reminded of that line from Captain Sparrow. It's like, you were telling the truth. I do that quite a lot, yet people are always surprised. It's like, Gul Dukat, I mean, he's pure evil. He's a bad, bad person who just loves genocide. But he does care about Cardassia, so he's got that going for him. People say that that episode in season 7, Waltz, some people say like that's a character assassination of Gul Dukat because previously he was sort of a morally gray person, and that episode just makes him evil. It's like, have you been watching Gul Dukat? Gul Dukat has always been a completely vile space Nazi. He's just a particularly charismatic evil space Nazi. That doesn't make him morally gray. Yeah, I would have been okay with Dukat dying in that episode. All the stuff with the power wraiths in the finale, the finale set of 7 episodes, I think it is. That part wasn't so great in the finale. It was fine, but I think the finales would have been better without the power wraith stuff. So if Ducat had died in Waltz and not turned into the cultist, I think that would have been better for him. Better ending for him. Enhance. Enhance Dax. Hang on, I'm gonna run my own enhancement on this. Because I do some image enhancement of my own. I want to see what'll come up if I do this. Obviously, I won't get that image they got. I won't get anything close to it. But just for comparison. Yeah, Kira and Ducat being a thing, that no. No, that would have been awful. So here's the image enhancement I got. Um, I mean, it's a little bit clearer. It's not as fuzzy, but yeah, you can sort of make out another ridge here, but that's about all I got. It's mildly less fuzzy. So we're not quite up to Federation technology yet. We're not quite there. That's a good point, Goldar Heel. There wasn't officially a war, so that counts, right? I mean, you say that, Goldar Heel, but the Bajorans actually won. They kind of won that war. A very efficient filing clerk. A wonderful system. Maritza had the best spreadsheet of any Nazi filing clerk you've ever seen. Fantastic spreadsheets. Was Goldar Heel? Goldar Heel worked for Gul Dukat, didn't he? Because Gul Dukat was prefect of Bajor for quite a while. So, I mean, I guess Goldar Heel could have left before Gul Dukat took over because he wasn't always prefect. But assuming that he was, Kira should probably be a little more upset with Dukat that the especially atrocious Galatep labor camp was happening under his jurisdiction. She kind of starts to let him off the hook later on in the series. Well, not entirely, but she eases up on him just a little bit. Dude was Dude had jurisdiction over the Galatep labor camp. That's not people free and unpunished. You mean like Gol Dukat, Major? Because he's still free. Is that Andorian ale? Or is that Romulan ale? They look the same. Do you suppose Romulan ale is illegal on a Bajoran space station that's run by the Federation? Oh, he said what it was? I missed it. It's not important. Yeah, but Kira, we've seen your file. You were considered a minor asset in the Bajoran resistance. The Cardassians didn't take you seriously at all, Kira. Remember that from a few episodes ago? You can't see the video because I this isn't sanctioned by CBS. I can't show you the video. You have to queue up your own. That's what the timestamp is for. There's also links to places you can watch Deep Space Nine in the description. Links to its Amazon page, Hulu, some others I don't remember. Netflix. That's a big one. Ah, true. Just image enhance it. It works for the Federation. Yeah, Kira. Why aren't why aren't you giving this Nazi who committed genocide against your people a chance to chat? He just wants to talk with you. Oh, she's gonna listen to him. Well, that's very polite of her. Galatep survivors. Yep, Galatep. Quark, you can't. This isn't the time, Quark. Though, as an aside, no, I don't expect that they like to gamble. Kalevi and Montar. Everybody loves Kalevi and Montar. Seems pretty possible, Odo. Yeah, unfortunately, Cardassia didn't follow Germany's path after they lost Bajor. They didn't become an actual really nice country. They just doubled down on the Nazis. They gave Goldarheel a giant military monument. They put a bunch of the Nazi leadership in charge of the government. So the military tribunals are happening instead of actual trials. I bet there's a death penalty on Bajor. At least for Cardassians. If there's not a death penalty for anyone else, I would be willing to bet there's an exception for Cardassians. The Federation's been willing to overlook a lot of problems with Bajor, particularly the fact that they're not a unified planet at the moment, because access to the wormhole is so important to them. Yeah, the Federation doesn't really care about all of Bajor's problems, as long as Bajor is useful to them. Michael, I have seen every episode of every series except the animated series. So, I'll be spoiling lots of things. I'll be spoiling lots of things for myself if people haven't watched this episode as well. Another bit of Federation hypocrisy here. The Federation very, very, very strongly condemns everything that Cardassia did on Bajor. They weren't terribly happy with it. They're still not terribly happy with it. But Honestly, the Klingons kind of do the same thing. The Klingons absolutely subjugate planets, strip them of resources, and don't give them anything in return. But the Klingons are allies. Everyone's perfectly cool with the Klingons. They're not in the Federation, but they're allies. The Federation doesn't object to all their slave species and subjugating entire planets and strip mining them. Federation alliance with the Klingons is purely practical. Because if they weren't allies with the Klingons, they would be completely surrounded with enemy empires. With the Romulans, the Klingons, the Cardassians, the Breen. So they made one alliance apparently out of convenience with them. Kind of an actual evil race if you stop to think about them. But there's not a lot of episodes that focus on Klingons being evil. They only actually talk about it a couple of times. I don't know about slave species. The slave species I might have just made up, but I do specifically remember them subjugating planets and taking the resources. The one I'm thinking of off the top of my head, I think there are a couple more, but the one I can remember right now is that episode of TNG in the Mind's Eye where the Federation is being framed for inciting rebellion on a planet. And that planet, that's not a that's not a Klingon colony, that's rebellion. That's one of the planets that's been subjugated. And that's like TNG season 4 or later. 3 or later. The Federation does a lot of things purely for the sake of convenience or protecting their own borders. Falsified reports, Major. Oh man, he's prepared some of these speeches. Yeah, he's definitely prepared all these examples of atrocities that he can cite for Kira. It's no insult to be mistaken for Eamon Maritza. Eamon Maritza, excellent spreadsheets. They were Nazi spreadsheets, so maybe they weren't, morally excellent spreadsheets. But on a technical level, 10 out of 10 spreadsheets. Yeah, maybe this is one of the darker episodes of Star Trek. Um, TNG is still airing at this point. What was happening in TNG at this time? So this episode happens just before Lore, or rather, I suppose technically, while Lore is starting to control the Borg. It's right before Descent. Yeah, Goldar Heel, or not Goldar Heel. Goldar Heel is the exact opposite of what I was going to say. Eamon Maritza, if there is such a thing as a good Nazi, Eamon Maritza probably is the best example, at least in fiction. I haven't read up on actual Nazi trials, but why you gotta do that, man? Yeah, it'll be another 6 years until we get any serious change to Cardassian society. Well, there'll be some change, but 6 years until there's any significant revolution against what's going on in Cardassia. Let me just put next episode title on screen. The watch alongs are every weekend. TNG on Saturday, Deep Space Nine on Sundays. every weekend. So, the Cardassians. The Cardassians. Oh yes, Jazz. I'm gonna put a different one on. Let's do this one. Though I'm thinking of changing the schedule, just the starting times for these. Cause I have a bunch of videos planned for next week, not this coming week, but next week. And the release time on all the regular videos is gonna be noon my time. So this started at 2 p.m. my time, and TNG usually starts at 10. I'm thinking of making everything, including the watch-alongs, in the middle of that at 12, which would be 8 p.m. Britain, 7 p.m. GMT. So basically, TNG would start 2 hours later, and DS9 would start 2 hours earlier. Yeah, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. Because, as I talked about yesterday, let me bring up the page again so I can just show you guys. I was looking at the analytics. Here we go. Here's the analytics. Audience. Top countries, United States, United Kingdom, and Canada. So those are the primary three I have to make it work with. The United States and Canada is super easy. Barely an inconvenience, because I'm in the United States, so that works out fine. The United Kingdom's a bit trickier to work around, because they're 8 hours later than me. So that would be 12 p.m. my time, would be 8 p.m. in the UK. But looking at when my viewers are on YouTube primarily, because YouTube will show me that statistic, I want everything to come out at roughly the same time. And it looks like across the board, 12 p.m. is the time that works for every day of the week. Weekends, like 10 usually works okay. Weekdays, like Wednesday, Thursday, people are only on later. So yeah, I'm thinking 12 o'clock across the board for every video and live stream. I forgot what I was going to say about the Cardassians. I had a point I wanted to make about Cardassian Empire, but I have no idea what it is now. You know, I think this is the episode where the school goes kaboom. I think the school's gonna blow up here. And we're gonna get our first real taste of Vedic Win. Because everybody loves Vedic Win, right? Vedic Win's pretty cool. But it totally wasn't her, though. She would never blow up a school. Anyway, let's press play in 3, 2, 1, play. And kill the Jazz. Oh, there's a Jumja stick. Someone mentioned Jumja sticks. Here's some Jumja sticks. Still don't know what they are, but there they are. Ooh, vitamin C. Very fancy. What is that made of? It kind of looks like a gelatin, but it looks like O'Brien is biting it, but he doesn't want to damage the prop, so there's no bite marks or anything taken out of it. He's pretending to bite the Jumja stick. It looks like it's supposed to be some kind of gelatin. Some kind of gelatin. Some sort of gelatin. Some form of gelatin. Some manner of gelatin. It's a man-made wormhole, Mrs. O'Brien. Sorry, not man-made. It's artificial. Humans didn't make it. It's decidedly not a man-made wormhole. I mean, you could call them prophets. Wait, Keiko, do you not know what verterons are? Because, I mean, Earth's used verterons for quite a while, in Star Trek years, not in real years. Yeah, they had the verteron array on Mars to do the terraforming. To heresy. Oh, blasphemy. Close enough. What are you gonna do about it, Vedic? You gonna try and close down the school? How are you gonna accomplish that? There's no way you can close down the school. Maybe she should try and get the kids to go to. Maybe she should get them to try to go to the temple. Not the temple. What's it called? What's that room everyone goes into to worship the prophets? It's on the promenade. There was that creepy guy in the first episode who I still believe was a manifestation of the prophets. The shrine, the Bajoran shrine. Maybe, Vedic Win, if you want people to learn about the prophets, you should try to get them into the Bajoran shrine. Don't worry. The Bajoran voter base is intelligent, it's educated. They would never elect someone to the position of Kai who's like this. They would never do that. She doesn't worship the paw wraiths. That's ridiculous. Why would you ever say something like that? Vedic Win is a paragon of virtue. I'm sure Vedic Win, or especially, Kai Win, I'm sure she talks to the prophets all the time. They give her guidance. Yeah, these people are blaspheming against the prophets. Oh, we're gonna get Vedic Burial. Nice. Oh, okay. She's 100% going to die by the end of the episode. She's dead. Or at a minimum, she's going to be sent off the station or arrested or something. There is something wrong with that woman's presence on the station. She's not allowed to be more confident than Chief O'Brien. If anyone's better at this than O'Brien, they're evil. That's the rule. Evil or going to die. You say that. So you're saying the polls are indicating that the populace, very old school leader, is not favored to be elected? Interesting. Oh, Kira, no. Absolutely not, Kira. What are you talking about? Science without a religious context as a philosophy? What kind of nonsense is that? Do I need to bring my physics presentation back on screen from yesterday? Look, if they can totally have Bajoran spiritual teachings on the station, like have that in the Bajoran Shrine or something, or have an additional class. They can use the classroom for that when O'Brien's class isn't in session. The problem with if they start teaching about the prophets of Vedic, I don't believe for a second you sensed anything in him. Vedic Win, I don't believe that Vedic Win can sense Pa. The problem with it, if you make Keiko O'Brien teach about Bajoran spiritual beliefs, I mean, you also have at least one Ferengi student there. You then have to teach about the divine treasury. Yeah, I don't know why her hat is the Sydney Opera House, but I mean, it's very fancy. What about the Blessed Exchequer? Kai Win, Vedic Win, excuse me. Oh god, she is so evil. Has Ensign Aquino been murdered? Yeah, Ensign Aquino's dead. Oh, and she killed him. I saw that face she made when they were talking about Ensign Aquino. She straight up murdered that man. Is that Ensign Aquino? Nope, that's the tool. Yep, that's Ensign Aquino. We know. No, it wasn't an accident, Keiko. Absolutely was not an accident. Another Jumja stick? Yeah, that might have been a bit of an overreaction, but. Oh, hey, Morn. There's Morn in the background. He's talking to that Eurydian. I mean, those definitely are not all Bajorans. There's that little girl in the background with forehead ridges. There's Jake. There's Nog. Why don't you teach about the prophets in a different class? You can have two classes in the same room, Win. She's not using the space 100% of the time. Vedic, what are you doing? I mean, we know what you're doing, but why do you gotta be the way you are? Oh, hey, it's all the non Bajoran children. So there are 5 non Bajorans. I didn't see if Nog was. Actually, we haven't seen Nog in a while, have we? Was Aaron busy? I haven't seen him recently at all. Did anyone notice Nog in that group? I wasn't paying close enough attention. I don't think he was there. I guess Aaron Eisenberg was just busy. He, he definitely has a part to play in this story. And Jay can just wander on into ops. No security measures whatsoever. People can wander onto the bridge of the Enterprise. People can wander into ops on Deep Space Nine. Federation security is just there's no security at all. They can just walk on. Just take the turbo lift right to the command center. I mean the thing here is the Bajorans are actually they're right that they are prophets. They actually prophesize things. They're literally prophets who affect Bajor as a planet and live in the Celestial Temple. And there's power wraiths that they strive against. The Bajorans are right. But I mean, still teach about them in the shrine or in a different class. But you still can't make Keiko O'Brien teach about that in her science class. Yeah, they send them the orbs, and they also, I mean, they sent them an emissary, clearly. They took that Bajoran poet into the wormhole and healed him, and they're going to send him back. Yep, the Jem'Hadar ships later on. I'm mostly thinking of the orbs. The orbs have had the biggest impact on Bajoran development, I think. And the Bajoran orbs do give people glimpses of the future and of the past, if you're being complete about it. They're 100%. They 100% are effectively prophets, but that doesn't mean you teach about the prophets in your science class. Different subjects. Though I don't expect that the Bajoran prophets actually care about some of the specific happenings on Bajor. I doubt the prophets actually care who the Kai is, or whether people are worshipping them. I don't think they even know about any of that stuff. But they care that Bajor is safe. Well, maybe him and Keiko would get along. Keiko made an arboretum. He made an arboretum. They could bond over their various arboretums. As much as we rag on Vedic on Kai Wynn as a character, no, not on the acting. The actual writing of the character and the acting is fantastic. But like how evil Kai Wynn is and how terrible she was for Bejor. What things would have been different if it was Kai Barial? It didn't seem like the Kai actually had as much influence as you would expect on the development of Bejor. And anytime Kai Wynn would have been a foil to Cisco, it seems to me that he always kind of gets his way anyway. So I'm not sure Kai Barial would have changed too much. Would have made things easier for Cisco, certainly. But I'm not sure the end result would have been different. I mean, you say that, Cisco, but you're mostly there to build a trusting relationship with their people so that you can continue using the wormhole. I mean, I know they didn't discover the wormhole until after they agreed to administer the station. But I get the feeling that the discovery gave them quite a bit more motivation to be friendly with the Bajorans. Yeah, that lady standing center frame above all the main characters, looking down on them. This is gonna go well. Yeah, I don't think the prophets care at all what the children learn. As long as it's not about the PAW rates, I don't think the prophets care. Runabout pad. Apparently, he was getting murdered. Thank you, Odo. Though that might not be an especially helpful line. I wouldn't worry about it. People get murdered all the time. By her specifically. Is she gonna give the whole I forget I think it was the Joker who's like, oh, I saw him die. In a way, I know him better than you do, O'Brien. I was that the Joker? I feel like that. Look, I have no idea. I don't think he was phasered, actually. No, I think something else happened. I think what she did was she knocked him overhead with a big Durasteel or whatever they use in Star Trek pipe, Duranium pipe, Tritanium pipe, and then she dragged him into the plasma conduit. And he was incinerated in the conduit. I don't think he was shot. Did the doctor say he was shot? Oh, maybe by shot he actually meant clubbed over the head with a tritanium pipe. Oh, hey, Morn. What's Morn doing today? Just waddling along the promenade? That's cool. Unless someone forged the records. What if someone wanted to destroy a runabout? You could even put a senator in it and then blow it up. Oh, hey, look, someone went through with their plan. Solid timing, Odo. What are you doing, O'Brien? If Keiko was in there, she's super dead. She is incinerated if she was in there. Oh, hey, Morn. There's Morn in the background. He seems very concerned. Infernite? Is that an actual explosive or is that something made up? Because that sounds made up. Infernite. Okay, yeah, that's 100% made up. I mean, that's a pretty bold accusation to make, Cisco. I mean, you're correct, but you should probably have evidence before you accuse her of that. What is she spying on the emissary? And that's a bold accusation from her, accusing the emissary of trying to destroy the Bajorans. You literally just called him the emissary. Do they just not care that he's the emissary yet? Do they not care about that at this season? It's not like they don't know he's the emissary. Vedic Gwyn just said it. Ah, meaningful looks between Engineering Lady and Vedic Gwyn. Just for the slower members of the audience, people who hadn't quite caught up to the fact that she very clearly murdered a man. What would someone be doing with a runabout? Oh, I think I know. I think the runabout is a getaway car. I'd be willing to bet it's a getaway car. Unfortunately, Engineering Lady is right there, right behind Cisco, listening to everything he says. Is that even Sobor? Wait, no, no, I want to see that guy's face. Was that Sobor? I guess we'll never find out. It very well might not be Sobor, because she's not the Kai yet. Maybe Sobor is assigned to the Kai. My child, if that's the path the prophets have set out for you, then you go out there and you get executed. I mean, I doubt Sobor would be in on the plan. He's probably just there to help her put on her Sydney Opera House hat. Do you think Dax can hear what's happening? Because this sounds like something should be concerned about as well. Okay, Dax is going to help out. Okay. Oh, there's a triangle. There's a triangle. We're now up to 4 triangles. The Bajoran transport ship. Yeah, apparently each of those the parts of the password are exclusively digits, and you can find them one at a time. You don't have to guess the whole thing. Oh no, they can be letters. But still, alphanumeric, you could just check every one at a time. See? O'Brien, this is why you never let people who are better than you at your job onto the station. Never let them on the station. That is definitely not Sobor. If that's supposed to be your aid, that is 100% not Sobor. Also, why doesn't Vedic Barile get a fancy hat? Why doesn't he get to wear the Sydney Opera House on his head? Do only the women Vedics get to wear that? Wait, who's that? Who's that Ferengi on the display in the background? That kind of looks like a female Ferengi. Who is that? Cousin Gala? What would Cousin Gala be doing there? You know, I hear he has his own moon. Oh, by the way, have we seen... There's no fish skeleton in the shot right now. Do you, do you want to call Odo? No, you're going to call Cisco. Okay. Fish skeletons by the Repomat? Okay. We'll have to look out for it. It's not in the background right now. It would be around that next corner. Yeah, it wasn't O'Brien. It was his assistant. That's quite the slow motion. We don't do slow motion on Star Trek. What are you doing? That was a really long slow motion effect, too. That was a good 30 seconds, maybe a minute of slow-mo. You know, if you want to know what the prophets want, maybe you should ask the emissary of the prophets, who just tackled you. Well, she didn't deny it. Well, I guess in the end no one was hurt, so that's good, right? They can rebuild the school, and they can keep holding classes. And all the people who were protesting outside, they're gonna completely lose interest. Yeah, no, he's absolutely the emissary. Vedek earlier in this episode called him the emissary as well, just to confirm. So people know that. The Bajorans do, that is. Oh yeah, almost no one was hurt. I mean, we lost Vedek, or not Vedek. He wasn't a Vedek at all. I don't even remember his name. Aquinas. Aquino. I think it's Aquino. We lost Aquino, but nobody cares about Aquino. I'm definitely not going to remember him this time next week. That's for sure. Aquino was killed because he discovered Neela messing with the transporter pad. So she shot him and dumped him in the plasma conduit. Which, you know, is generally considered to be impolite. Shooting people and dumping them in the plasma conduits. Alright, well, that's the last episode for today. We put on some jazz. Let me see what episodes are next week. TNG Season 1. Okay, we've got some... For TNG next week, we've got at least one interesting one. Heart of Glory I remember as being okay. The Arsenal of Freedom is really good. This is TNG on Saturday. The Arsenal of Freedom's really good. Symbiosis, I don't remember what happens in it. That might be the start... Well, the second part of the alien parasite plot. That might be part of the alien parasite plot. But yeah, Heart of Glory, The Arsenal of Freedom, and Symbiosis for TNG. And then DS9. We watched 2 episodes today instead of we watched 4 episodes today instead of the usual 3. Oh, Symbiosis is the Say No to Drugs episode. That's gonna be fun. We watched 4 episodes today so that we could finish off Season 1 and do the 3-parter next Sunday. The Homecoming, The Circle, and The Siege. The 3-parter series about, well, The Circle. About, Bajoran terrorists, basically, but Bajoran terrorists is a very vague term because it refers both to good people and to bad people, so Specifically, we're talking about the bad Bajoran terrorists. Now we're gonna get Leonalis, we're gonna get, the first minister, who I remember from somewhere else. But I'll have to look up his name. Let's see, DS9 Season 2 First Minister. Who is that man? No, not Shakar. My goodness, Google. I'm not talking about Shakar. The circle movement, yes, that's what I want. Never trust Wikipedia to give you any meaningful information here. Minister Jaro, that's his name. DS9, who's this actor? Minister Jaro is Frank Langella. What else does he do? Okay, so his only appearances in Star Trek are Deep Space Nine, but I definitely recognize him from something else. He's definitely in something else that I've seen. I'm just scrolling through to see if I recognize any of these, Oh, apparently he was in a TV series called The Trials of O'Brien. So, you know. That's quite appropriate. O'Brien sure does get a lot of trials, including at least one literal trial. I'm just scrolling through his IMDb page. Yeah, noon my time, which is, that's 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. GMT, 8 p.m. British summertime. Yeah, none of this looks familiar to me. I swear I recognize him from something else, but none of this is familiar. Oh well. He's pretty good as Minister Jaro in any case. Minister Jaro's pretty cool, other than, you know, being evil. But that's enough for today. And see you guys next week.